The future of iOS 7.
The iPhone 5S versus the iPhone 5C. In this 16th episode of Phone Wars, let's compare the iPhone 5C with the iPhone 5S, and let's see how some new Apple technologies might be a preview for future Apple products and the iOS platform. Before we get into it, my current favorite things on Amazon are linked in the description below. I'll be continuously updating the list with interesting things. For example, right now I'm thinking about pre-ordering this new smart lock called the Kevo. Should I add this to an upcoming video about smart products? Let me know in the comments.
We now return you to regular programming.
But if you're here to find out more about Apple's latest iPhone 5S, this video was made for you. However, the most innovative things about the top-of-the-line iPhone 5S could actually be how it paves the way for Apple's next big things.
Interesting. Now I'm curious.
Phone Wars 15 focused on the iPhone 5C, with a brief history of the ongoing iOS versus Android smartphone OS battles. By the way, thanks for all the feedback in that video. As some subscribers correctly pointed out, I was wrong when I said the iPhone 5C follows the example set by the Moto X. Actually, the Lumia smartphones introduced bright colors. Nokia cleverly tweeted this picture reminding everyone during the iPhone Keynote event. First, let's review the 4 ways the iPhone 5S is the same as the iPhone 5C.
1. Same cellular antenna.
The 5S has the same broad 4G LTE support, and if you can get it unlocked, the Sprint version actually supports the most bands across the Americas, Europe, Africa, and Asia. By the way, if you're thinking about switching carriers, I compared the prices, coverage, and overall value of the big 4 US network carriers in the links below.
2. Camera features.
The 5S has the same video image stabilization, 10-person face detection, takes photos while recording video, and has the improved front FaceTime HD camera with larger pixels.
3. Same wireless.
Both Apple's iBeacon API and Bluetooth Low Energy deliver proprietary data over short distances. And the iPhone 5S has the same 802.11n Wi-Fi.
4. Same hardware.
Lastly, it has the same screen, speakers, and microphones. Now let's cover the 5 reasons the iPhone 5S might be worth the upgrade, even if you'll have to wait.
1. Better performance.
The company announced the CPU and GPU are twice as fast as the A6 in the iPhone 5C, and AnandTech.com reports the GPU is built on the same scalar architecture as current AMD and NVIDIA GPUs. It also supports OpenGL ES 3.0 to deliver impressive textures, shading, and frame rates in mobile games. As a matter of fact, the iPhone 5S has more graphics power than the 4th-gen iPad with its larger Retina display. I plan on going over the A7 in detail in the next Chip Wars episode. 64-bit is a shot across the bow pointing to a future platform of devices that might be powerful enough to make web pages, render pictures and videos, or edit music. This new instruction set not only supports more memory, but it also boosts integer performance, and floating point performance goes way up with the bigger register space. Clearly, Apple is promoting iOS as a place for people to make content.
We're making all 5 of these industry-leading apps free.
And it's giving developers the time they need to optimize their apps for future, more powerful 64-bit architectures. Today, we know the iPhone 5S has the best browser performance.
2. Better photos.
The 64-bit A7 supports more advanced photo features. The new image signal processor provides better auto white balance, auto exposure, new local tone mapping, 15 autofocus zones, and performs 2 times faster than the iPhone 5C. If you've ever taken a picture of a group of people, you know that it's really hard to capture the right moment. The continuous burst mode helps capture the ideal frame, with software helping pick out the best shot. Even in normal mode, auto image stabilization imperceptibly merges the best parts of 4 different frames into one ideal image. Finally, the A7 takes panorama shots 50% faster than the iPhone 5C.
3. Better videos.
The video mode enables editing for slow motion playback and live video zoom to create some interesting Vine videos.
4. Better low-light pictures.
The new iSight camera has a wider f2.2 aperture and larger sensor with larger pixels to capture 33% more light, producing more vivid pictures. So rather than increasing the pixel count, which also decreases sensitivity, Apple made the image sensor 15% bigger and increased the pixel size on both the front and rear cameras. Compared to the 5C, the iPhone 5S cameras have better low-light sensitivity and therefore less noise and greater dynamic range. Apple also improved the flash. After automatically detecting the ambient color temperature, Both the white and amber LED work together to create over 1,000 color combinations in Apple's True Tone flash. This addresses some of the weird bluish color output that comes from standard LED lights or fluorescent lighting. And in terms of the camera UI, finally, in iOS 7, what you see on the screen is what you get in the picture.
5. Bigger battery.
The battery is 10% bigger than the iPhone 5, but this benefit is really a wash given the higher performance A7s using more resources.
Excuse me, my next appliance. Earlier, you said the iPhone 5S is a perfect setup for Apple's next big things. I want to hear more about that.
I figured you would like to hear more about that. There are two big innovations that really surprised me. First, besides the 64-bit A7 processor, Apple included a potential Trojan horse for a future wearable computing platform. Basically, Apple has started disaggregating its iOS platforms, starting with the processors. Apple seems to be getting ready for a future of smart devices, also known as the Internet of Things, by modularizing its computing platform. The M7 processes basic motion data tasks on its own without relying on the main A7 SoC. I imagine Apple using this chip in future smart products that will work with iDevices. And second, Touch ID, a one-touch authentication system. Too often, security takes the backseat to convenience. Who wants to enter a complicated password every single time? So along with the faster A7 processor, Apple's Touch ID is the most interesting innovation. Technologically, behind the home button is a sensor, kinda like the sensors in digital cameras. But Touch ID can be more than just a secure way to unlock your phone or buy media on iTunes. We use signatures and passwords for many services and to buy all kinds of products. Fingerprint authentication is the fastest, easiest, and most mobile solution to identity verification. But Apple isn't letting third parties near this powerful feature, and for good reason. The iPhone 5S can encrypt up to 5 unique fingers, but it won't store the fingerprint maps on their servers. The success of Touch ID depends on trust. If a password is compromised, you can always change it, but you can't change your fingerprints. So it's good to know the information is encrypted within the A7 chip with access granted only to the Touch ID sensor. Ultimately, we won't know how powerful Touch ID could be until hackers get to tinker with it. Also, Apple admits that Touch ID doesn't work if your fingers are wet, or if your finger is permanently scarred. Lastly, just like previous S model updates to the iPhone, the 5S keeps much of the same exterior aluminum design, except that it comes in 3 metal finishes: silver, gold, and space gray. And now Apple offers its own leather iPhone cases. Now for some drawbacks. No support for 802.11ac Wi-Fi, no support for LTE Advanced, no NFC support, and it's pricey. While the rest of the world compares the non-contract prices, most US shoppers compare the contract pricing, which actually hides the true cost. Here, the 16GB 5S seems like it's double the price of the 5C, but it's actually only 18% more. That's because in all cases, the $450 subsidy is paid by one of these carriers. So it's not completely accurate to think of the 5S as being double the price of the 5C. So is the 5S the best value for you? Well, that all really depends. If you're really happy with Apple's iOS platform and are thinking about upgrading from an iPhone 4S or older device, you'll be blown away by the features and performance of the iPhone 5S. But if you'd like a bigger screen because you'd like the extra screen real estate to actually create and edit content today, you should subscribe for a future video covering the Samsung Galaxy Note 3 or check out my video on the Moto X. Personally, I'm really impressed with how the 64-bit A7, the M7 Motion coprocessor, and Touch ID will influence the future of the iOS platform. If you'd like to support the channel and order your next smartphone, check the Amazon links below to make sure you're getting the best deal. Now's the time where I personally thank all the most recent subscribers. Welcome to the channel, a place where I hope we can share ideas and opinions about innovative products that might one day qualify to be our next digital appliances and services. I always read every single comment, and thanks in advance for liking and sharing these videos on Facebook, Twitter, Google+, and Reddit. They definitely take a lot of work and research, but your comments, as always, keep me motivated. If you really liked this video, click the squares from your computer or check the links below to watch related episodes. Now, time to work on the next episode of Chip Wars, here on